Okay, so picture this, right? You're at home and you need some milk, but you don't even have to like go to the store,
Yeah.
You just tap your smart refrigerator. Boom, milk on the way. Sounds crazy, right? But that kind of future might be a lot closer than we think, especially when we start talking about the future of money, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of wild when you think about it that way. And actually, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Exactly. So we've got this super interesting article. It's actually in Korean. The title translates to The Evolution of Digital Currency, CBDCs and the Future.
Catchy, huh? But really, money. Money's always been changing.
Right.
I mean, think about it. Like way back, we had beads and shells and stuff.
Okay.
Then gold coins came along and then, well, you know the story. Paper money, credit card. It's like it never stops evolving.
It's true. So where does that leave us now? Are we about to, say goodbye to dollar bills forever?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But to really get into that, we have to kind of rewind a bit and talk about crypto, Bitcoin and all that.
Oh, yeah, crypto. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest, I still don't totally get it.
Yeah, it can be pretty confusing. So think back to 2009, right? Bitcoin was this super niche thing, just tech people messing around. But then things just exploded. Fast forward to today, and there are thousands, literally thousands of crypto assets out there.
Wow.
Over 14,000, actually. And get this, by the end of 2021, they were worth $2.3 trillion.
Trillion. That's just...
It's a lot of zeros. But here's the thing, right? Can you actually use Bitcoin to buy, a coffee?
That's what I'm wondering.
It's tricky. See, Bitcoin and a lot of their crypto assets, they're super volatile. The value can go up and down like crazy. So one day your Bitcoin might buy you a week's worth of groceries, but the next day, maybe just a loaf of bread. Not exactly practical.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. So if crypto isn't really ready to replace our wallets, what is?
See, now we're getting to the good stuff. The article talks about two big contenders, stablecoins and CBDCs.
Okay, stablecoins. Those sound, I don't know, a little less wild than Bitcoin, maybe?
You got it. They're more think of it like a digital gift card. It has a set value, it doesn't change all the time because they're pegged to something stable like the US dollar.
Oh, okay. Or even gold, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you've got stablecoins backed by gold, like Tether Gold or PayCax Gold. It's all about finding ways to make digital currencies, more stable and easier to use for everyday stuff.
So a bridge between our old school money and the crazy crypto world. Makes sense. But what about these, what are they called, CBDCs?
Yes, CBDCs. Central bank digital currencies. Now we're talking future stuff. This is digital cash issued by a government.
Wait, so digital dollar bills?
You got it. Living on your phone, And it's not just some futuristic idea either. The Bahamas and Nigeria, they already have their own CBDCs, the sand dollar and the Naira.
Busy.
Yeah. And get this, over 100 other countries are looking into CBDCs right now.
So this is a global thing. This has happened.
It's huge. It's the whole world is trying to figure out how this digital money stuff is going to work. And there are so many possibilities. Some CBDCs might be digital tokens. Others might be tied to your bank account. Maybe they even have interest rate, regular accounts.
So many questions. But it's exciting.
It is exciting. It's we're on the edge of something totally new.
Okay, so all this digital money stuff, it sounds super convenient, but, is it a good thing? What are the benefits here?
Think about it. What if you could pay for anything, anywhere, instantly? You're in Paris, you buy a coffee, boom, digital euros, done. Send money to a friend in China, no problem. Digital yuan, fast, cheap, secure.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. But come on, there's got to be some downsides, right?
Yeah.
What about, security? Or privacy?
Those are the big questions, no doubt. That's where things get a little less clear-cut. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack next.
Yeah, it's we're standing at this crossroads, right? On one hand, all this amazing potential, new ways to use money, make things easier for everyone. But then on the other hand, it's whoa, what about security? What about, Big Brother watching all our transactions?
Exactly. And that's where regulation comes in, right? It's got to be setting some ground rules, making sure things don't get out of control, building guardrails, for this super fast train of financial change.
So who's building these guardrails? Who's in charge here?
Well, the article mentions a bunch of, big players like the Financial Action Task Force. They're all about preventing money laundering and stuff like that.
Right, keeping things legit.
Exactly. And then you've got the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. They're looking at like how banks can deal with all this crypto stuff responsibly.
And of course, we can't forget about the IMF, right? The International Monetary Fund. I mean, the author of this article actually works there.
Yeah, exactly. They're like the big thinkers, you know, trying to figure out how all this fits together globally.
So we've got all these organizations trying to keep up with, well, with the future, basically.
It is like a constant game of catch-up, you know? Because technology moves so fast.
And who knows what's going to come next?
I know, right? But that's also what makes it so exciting. I mean, think about it. Sending money could be as easy as sending a text. Or maybe even like buying groceries from your fridge like we were talking about earlier.
Right. The article even mentions money being like embedded in objects. That's wild.
It's mind-blowing. But the point is, the way we think about money, the way we use it, it's all changing. And that brings us back to, you know, the listener. Like, what does this all mean for the average person?
That's the key question, right? How does this actually impact our lives?
Well, whether we realize it or not, we're all part of this financial revolution.
Right.
And the more we understand about it, the better prepared we'll be, you know, to make smart decisions.
So where do we even start? I mean, it's a lot to take in.
Just be curious. Don't be afraid to, you know, ask questions, do some research, talk about it with your friends. The more we all know, the better we can, well, shape this future together as a society.
Right, right. So we shouldn't just sit back and let it all happen.
No way. This is our chance to, like, really have a say in how things evolve. You know, whether you're into the tech side or you're more interested in the social impact, there's something here for everyone.
I love that. It's like we all have a role to play. So as we start to wrap things up here, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to remember?
I'd say remember this. The future of money, it's not some far-off thing. It's being written right now, and we're all part of that story.
Yeah, that's a powerful thought, isn't it? Like, we're not just talking about some far-off sci-fi future. This is happening now, and we're all part of it.
It really is. And it's bigger than just the technology itself, right? It's about what kind of financial system we want to build, you know, for ourselves for the future.
Cool.
Do we want something more inclusive, more efficient, or do we end up just, like, making existing problems even worse?
It's like we have all these tools, all this potential, but we have to use them the right way.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. There are just so many possibilities, so many different paths we could take.
Like you mentioned earlier how CBDCs could be a game changer for financial inclusion. What exactly did you mean by that?
Well, imagine a world where, like, anyone with a mobile phone can access basic financial services, even if they don't have a bank account, you know?
Right, like people in rural areas or refugees, anyone who's been excluded from the traditional system.
Exactly. CBDCs could give them a way to participate in the economy, send and receive money safely, even build credit. It could be huge.
It's like using technology to level the playing field a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about individuals either. Governments could use CBDCs to distribute aid or benefits more efficiently, you know. Imagine, like, disaster relief funds reaching people directly, instantly.
Wow, that would be incredible.
Right. It's like cutting out all the middlemen, all the red tape.
So, more efficient government and more people included in the system.
Yeah.
Sounds like a win-win.
It does, doesn't it? But you know, there's always a but, right? We can't forget about the potential downsides, like data security, privacy concerns, the risk of cyber attacks.
Right, those are real issues. So
Exactly.
It's not like CBDCs are a magic solution. It's more complicated than that.
Absolutely. We have to be realistic, you know, look at both the good and the bad, and make sure we're asking the tough questions along the way.
Well said. So, thinking about all this, you know, from those early days of bartering to, like, digital money zapping around the world, what's the one thing you'd like our listeners to really think about after this deep dive?
That's a good one. I guess I'd ask them to consider this. What role do you want to play in shaping the future of money? Will you be just an observer, or will you be an active participant? Because this is something we're all creating together, you know?
I love that. It's a call to action, right? We can just sit back and wait to see what happens.
Exactly. The future's happening now, and it's up to all of us to shape it.
Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the future of money. We hope you learned something new, and maybe, just maybe, we've inspired you to get involved. Because the future of money is in our hands.